Oh boy, Brinkley RV, you've got some explaining to do. Welcome to HB RV Lifestyle. They call me the Honey Badger because I give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business. And this is your March 2025 RV industry update. And yes, we will be updating you on something very interesting and very concerning about Brinkley RV, but we also will be covering RV interest rates, the used RV market, and lastly, we're going to cover some generic things about campgrounds and what you need to know going forward for summer 2025 camping. Because I believe that this year, this summer, this spring, this fall, the RV world is going to expand. And what I mean by that, and that's where we'll start, is what is going on in the world is a lot of folks are looking at hotel rooms, Airbnbs, rentals, and those have skyrocketed, especially on the West Coast, ever since a lot of the California fires have occurred. With a lot of natural disasters that have occurred over the last year, including in North Carolina and other places across the United States and even to some parts of Canada, we've noticed that the rate of getting a hotel room or a resort or a cruise has skyrocketed. Now, has it gone up more than it did during COVID? No. But it's still more expensive today to get on a lot of these vacations than it was, let's say, 18, 19 months ago. So where I see, or I should say what I see coming, is I see if you haven't made reservations for a lot of the places you want to go, you might want to consider doing it ASAP. Because I truly believe that between the amount of used RVs selling at a rapid pace, as well as the rate that new RVs are selling now, we're going to see a lot of people on the road living the RV lifestyle. But I don't think it'll get as bad as COVID, but it's going to get really, really busy out there. So my biggest message to you is make your reservations now. Don't wait till 30 days prior, 60 days prior. Commit to your vacation now and get that reservation taken care of, especially if it's during a weekend or a holiday weekend. I'll give you a good example. I had a plan to go to a little campground in the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, and I was planning that trip for late June, just as kind of a breather, take my step away from the RV industry, do a little fly fishing, do a little lure fishing, kind of enjoy myself. Guess what? All the campsites that I actually like to go to are already booked, and we just reached March 1st, 2025. So April, May, June, more than 90 days, and they're already booked out. So make sure that if you're going to a place that requires or gives you the option for reservations, make sure you're doing it now if you haven't already. Make your plans and commit to your plans now, so that way you're not like stressing like a stress ball, because I sure in the heck do, right? Okay. The next thing, which is kind of the interesting bird in the room, is Brinkley RV is having a massive frame problem. A huge frame problem with their fifth wheels and their travel trailers, but it's not what you think. It is not the same problem as frame failure / frame flex that Grand Design RV has been going through. Okay? Very different. Now, there is, unfortunately, a marketing department headed by a gentleman named Nate Goldberg that decided to tell the public that the problem is with an adhesive problem. That's a pretty good way of spinning really bad news. Like, let's make a big problem seem really small, right? But the problem isn't with the chassis. What the problem is there are cracks going up the fiberglass, specifically on the passenger and driver side front of the coach. So whether it's a travel trailer, a toy hauler, a fifth wheel, and it's not necessarily specific to one model, it's actually a widespread problem according to Brinkley customers that I have had the pleasure of now speaking with and texting and emailing with, okay? And as I promised, anybody that reached out to me with the crack in their sidewall, your name and your information will remain anonymous. And if you'd like to send me your story about what's going on with your Brinkley coach, your name, your phone number, your email, everything will remain anonymous, just like I did when Grand Design RV was going through their frame failure problem, okay? Now, if you go to the Facebook groups, if they haven't been removed, because there's been some suspicious activity on Facebook groups. And what I mean by that is Facebook groups have had posts removed if they are talking negatively about Brinkley or talking about the sidewall problem. Now, I don't know who's removing them. I'll let you speculate as the consumer and the actual person watching or listening to this video. I'm not going to speculate on that. I'm just going to say that there's been some posts that have mysteriously disappeared regarding the cracks in the fiberglass of these Brinkley fifth wheels and travel trailers. Kind of seems familiar, doesn't it? Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Okay. Now, if you get the opportunity, if you want, I'll email you the pictures I've been sent and the screenshots of the posts that I've been sent. But in reality, if you look at the pictures of these sidewalls, this is not an adhesion problem. This is a frame problem. But it's not a problem with the frame, the actual chassis frame. This is not something to do with frame failure. This has to do with the frame of the sidewall. And I've seen this before. I saw this before with Heartland Sundance fifth wheels about 12, 13 years ago when I was working at Giant RV, okay? 2012, 2013 Sundances had a similar issue. And what it boiled down to was there wasn't enough flex, okay? So when a travel trailer or a fifth wheel or a boat or a big motorhome or whatever the case may be goes down the road, there has to be some flexing of that unit to prevent what I call stress cracks inside the actual coach. Prevent stress cracks in the actual frame of the chassis as well. And if you go and look at these cracks, they literally look as if something was stiff as a board and it wasn't able to move, but everything around it was moving. Whoop, motorcycle. Okay, so it seemed like it was something that was just moving, or the actual building was moving, but this little section wasn't. So it creates this crack going up the sidewall. Now, to Brinkley's credit, okay, no matter how much the spin doctor, as I would call that person, no matter how much the spin doctor wants to make it this little problem, I have found out from a lot of Brinkley consumers, this is a major issue. And to their credit, I believe Brinkley is handling it, okay? I really do. I've been told by service people close to me in the industry throughout the country, that they have been reached out to by Brinkley RV to see if they can be subletted some of the fixes on these Brinkley coaches, because apparently they're extremely full at the factory with these repairs and they don't want it to drag on for years. So credit, as much as I want to tell you that Brinkley RV is the biggest pile of crap on God's green earth, that's not the case. They're doing a good job of wanting to get ahead of the problem, okay? They recognize they have a problem. They've acknowledged they have a problem, even though they want to minimize the problem because of marketing and wanting to build the equity of the company. In reality, I do believe that they will handle this problem and fix it. And I believe that whatever they come up with over the next 2 or 3 months, they will fix this issue and allow more flex in the frame of the wall. because I believe that's where it is. If you actually go and if you talk to anybody, you can talk to Dustin Simpson over at California RV Specialist. I'm pretty sure he has seen a ton of these type of things. I have not yet to talk to him about it. But reality is that frames need to flex. They don't need to flex and overflex like the Grand Design fifth wheels were doing, but they do need to have some sort of flex to prevent these cracks in the sidewall, okay? Now, as I've said on my podcast, and I'll say it right here, Brinkley is not the greatest thing since sliced bread. And where I'm going to talk negatively about Brinkley is three things. The first thing is that their marketing department has pretty much put the Brinkley brand on a pedestal where it doesn't belong, okay? Someone needs to learn from their mistakes. You made the mistake of putting Grand Design RV on a pedestal, and it's fallen off the pedestal, which has a domino effect for the rest of the industry, okay? Brinkley RV is not a top-of-the-line travel trailer or fifth wheel. It's nowhere near it. But at the same time, it is not a bad product at all. It actually is a decent product. It, for the most part, in my opinion, they've done an excellent job of not wasting any space in any of their floor plans. When you walk inside, you pretty much feel like there isn't a waste of space anywhere. Where there could be storage, they put storage. Where there could be counter space, they put counter space. Are they perfect? And that's number two. No, they are not perfect. They are not what they're made to be. A lot of the stuff that's put into a Brinkley is the same thing put into a Rockwood, a Flagstaff, a Cougar, an Alliance product. They don't do much. It's more of a gimmick, right? The look is extraordinary. I think the look of them is amazing. That brings me to negative number three. And negative number three is based on they shouldn't be at the pedestal and they're nowhere near perfect. They are also extremely overpriced for what they really are. And that comes in my professional opinion, okay? But at the same time, let's give them credit where credit's due. And where credit is due is I trust them, even though they are a pump and dump type of investment group, okay? It will be in their extreme best interest to get ahead of this, fix it, make sure it doesn't happen again so they can grow the equity of their company and sell it off to make a large profit, which is good. I'm not bashing that, okay? Nowhere have I ever bashed people for making money. So I believe that they will do the right thing, and I believe it's in their best interest to do the right thing, especially since, who knows, when the economy gets back and somebody can afford to buy them, they'll probably get an offer made to them, okay? Because again, they did a great job with the floor plans, they did a great job with storage, they did a great job with the look of the trailer, and of course, they're master marketers, right? So they've done a really good job of that, okay? The next thing we need to talk about is the used RV market. The used RV market is hot if the unit is priced correctly, okay? Now, the dealership I've been helping out with video and marketing and things of that nature, once I've kind of explained to them that, all of a sudden, like every used unit flies off the shelf. The ones that stay on the lot is stuff that's overpriced. Okay, I'll give you a great example. So I had a 2017 Winnebago Adventure here that was on consignment. Now, this is not the dealer's fault. This is the owner's fault. The owner doesn't recognize or care to recognize that their coach retail in this market is about 75 grand. They wanted 100. Okay. Again, a Winnebago Adventure is a completely different animal. You have to have the right buyer that understands what that market is. And that's not very many people because, again, motorized has been a different animal since COVID, okay? You've had a lot of ups and downs, and people, when they're buying a motorhome right now, especially a used one, they're shopping price first, then floor plan, then quality. Because, let's face it, not everyone can afford a $1,500 or $1,600 payment on a brand new Class C or Class A motorhome. Let's be real. Most people, they're at that $500, $600, $700 a month range. So it makes it very difficult, especially on the used market, when you have people that spent 175 or 180 grand 7 years ago, and now they will pretty much top out at 75 grand. And that's just due to how the market goes. But yet, every time something has been priced properly according to what the market should bring for certain items, they don't even sit on the lot long. I think the last 5 trades that they took in didn't last 3 days. So it just goes to show you folks that the market is out there. There are people spending money on both new and used travel trailers, toy haulers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, etc. But it's got to be priced correctly. Now that kind of segues me into something I didn't originally say I was going to talk about, but that reminds me of the new RV market. Now, what I'm going to agree with some of you is I'm going to agree with you that there are some dealers out there that are just acting stupid. They're being dumb. They're still thinking it's 2021 and they're going to get every dime they can out of every trailer sold. And then there are guys like the people I'm helping out, the folks I'm helping out, that understand that the market's about rapid movement, okay? But starting today, you're going to see dealerships across the United States and Canada raise their prices. It already happened over the last week. Now, I'm seeing an average of price increases on new of about 3 to 4% on average. Some dealers are at 7, some dealers are at like 3, some are at 2.5. They raise their prices to raise their profit margins so they can stay in business. So the days of basically losing money to make deals is over. It's gone. So for those of you that sat on the sidelines and, oh, no, the RV market's going to crash, you missed your opportunity. But that's okay. There will be probably another one in 10 or 12 years, right? And since it wasn't meant to be, it's not meant to be, right? At least keep telling yourself that. The last thing I'm going to talk about is RV interest rates, okay? So interest rates in the RV industry are not going to change. I keep getting emails about this. Oh, they're going to drop, they're going to drop. Trump's going to make them drop. Trump has nothing to do with interest rates. The Fed has a little bit to do with interest rates. Interest rates are a very complicated, complex mold of things that have to go right to lower interest rates. It's not just based on what the Federal Reserve does. That's a small portion of the pie. If it was a pizza and there was 9 slices of pizza, that's just a slice and a half of the entire picture of how interest rates work. Okay? Now, if I sat up here and explained that all, I'd be here for like 4 hours and you'd be bored, yawning, and sleeping on the couch. So we're not going to get into all that. What I am going to tell you is that interest rates are not going to go down for at least 2, maybe 3 years. So where we are is where we are. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if interest rates go down significantly, those profit margins that raised on average, let's say 3 to 4%, would have gone up 10 or 12%. Why? Because as interest rates go down, dealership profits go up. Payments become more affordable, so dealers raise their prices and raise their profit margins. Okay? Inflation occurs. So with interest rates staying stable between basically 8 and 11% on the prime credit level, sometimes we can get better, sometimes they get worse, but in that kind of average around 8, 9, 10, 11%, prices are not going to get out of control. Are dealers raising their prices? Absolutely. Have many people gone up to folks at shows and asked if prices were going up, and dealers, managers, salespeople, manufacturing people all say yes? It's because it's the truth. So if you bought here in January, February, or prior to that, congratulations, you made an amazing deal. And in 2 or 3 years, when rates do go down, you should refinance your RV. Okay? That's something that should be on your mind, whether you buy today, bought yesterday, bought last year, bought 2 years ago, is prepare yourself when rates go down. Let's say they get down into that 5 or 6% range. You need to be prepared to refinance it through one of your credit unions. Which I'm just going to kind of bring this up because I'm going to do a video about this here in March. I'm also going to do a video of how to do inspections so you can save your own money and don't have to hire some weird third-party inspector that's never worked on a coach before. Beyond those videos I'm going to do here in March, I'm also going to talk about how to join a credit union so that way you're prepared to refinance your RV once rates come down. Okay, so what the goal would be at the end of the day is to shrink the term, lower the rate, and keep the same payment so you pay it off faster and you save more money in the long run. So, with that all being said, if you want to know more of how RV interest rates actually work, you want to click on this video right up here. Until next time, remember RV stands for what? Toolkit and sense of humor. Have a good one.